Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Harmony. I am a twin flame expert helping twin flames around the globe face fears, find freedom, and glow forward on fire. Welcome to my weekly glow show. Today's topic is twin flames. Are you the black sheep of the family and or society? And today I have my 10-year-old grandson with me, Kylan Matthew. He has came to help be a voice for the inner child today. So welcome, Kylan.
Hi.
So he's going to share with us, we're going to get to hear from the mouth of a babe what it means to be the black sheep, as well as giving us some tips in order to help heal our inner child and being able to do that straight from the mouth of a babe and straight from the mouth of a child that is a very highly consciously connected child. And I'll share with you a little bit more about that shortly. But I've been working with a lot of clients this week and throughout a time frame of helping people heal that wounded child. And so we're going to talk about some of those tips on 3 ways today that I'm going to help you discover that to implement to help you embrace this journey, to embrace the journey that you signed up for along the way to be different. You came here to be different. You came here to break the mold. And so we're going to discuss that. But before we shift forward in that, I would like to um, do a moment of silence for all the friends and family out there in Florida. And I would send all the prayers there, love, light. I know, there's a lot of devastation that it looks like it's heading that direction. And so I want to take a moment of silence in honor of all of the people that are homeless and had to evacuate right now and send them love and light. Okay, so let's just take a moment of silence for everyone in Florida. So everyone in Florida, we send you love and light, and our prayers are with you today and always, of course. But may you find some peace in the middle of this storm, which is typical of one of the things I talk about is finding the eye of the storm. And so today we're going to kind of take a look at why we came here to be different, why we came here to stand out, as I mentioned. So, these are generational curses that we're talking about healing here. It's not just generational curses, but also cultural curses that we came here to break. And, we signed up to be the black sheep. So how can we honor what we signed up for, but yet embrace the journey and not kind of beat ourselves up for being different, really? And I'm seeing this both in the divine masculine and the divine feminine. And so I want to share with you kind of where the energy's been with that. And before we do though, let's talk about what is a black sheep. A black sheep implies that you're different, that it's a negative thing. Really, I guess one of the keys here is that black sheep we think negative. We're taught that it's negative. Really, it just means you stand out. It just means you stand alone. It means you go wayward from the normal. And so kind of how can we change that negative content of being a black sheep into the positive, looking at the positive side and being able to shift our perception and to help us get into alignment with that, what we signed up for? Because we're breaking the molds of these generational curses and we're breaking the molds of these different cultural and country templates. And how can we implement the new ones that we came here to do? So I'll discuss 3 ways for you to help you embrace this journey of being the black sheep. And I'm going to also, again, interview some questions with Kylan at the end here. So the 3 ways that you can work towards redefining being a black sheep, one is being able to accept yourself. And I'll go through the 3 and then we'll go a little bit deeper, but accept yourself. Also express yourself and do it from a way that you're speaking your truth and really identifying what is the truth. And the 3rd way is embracing this journey that you signed up for and seeing that it is not necessarily a negative aspect. So let's kind of look at this for a minute as to how the programming started. What is the programming, so to speak? So as we look at the divine feminine and the divine masculine, when we think of, children, we think, and this is typical. I don't think it matters what culture you're in for this, but we have mama's boy, and you've heard that saying, mama's boy needs to let go of the apron string. And then we have daddy's girl. And we've all heard that daddy's girl has dad wrapped around his little finger, right? And so that means control, right? That we're trained to be in control of things as the divine feminine. And I want to say something too, saying mama's boy, daddy's girl, but when we talk divine masculine, divine feminine, it's energetic energy and the templates of the masculine and the feminine, which really has no gender. Okay, so we want to kind of take the gender out, but I am using that as an example because that is kind of the context of the perception of mama's boy and daddy's girl. So, really, like, let's look at some things that are the programming, as I mentioned, what we've been taught. So one of the big ones, we've been taught to suppress feelings. We've been taught not to show emotion. We've been taught that if you show emotion, that means you're a weak person. And so especially from a masculine side, the masculine side has had, the mothers of being in control and emotionally emasculated them to where they don't know how to speak their truth. They don't know how to take care of anything. They don't know how to express themselves. Because even then from the father figure is usually like, there's, think of that term, and there's no crying in baseball. You can't cry in baseball. Well, we've just been taught to suppress these emotions. And the reason we've been taught to suppress the emotions is because we start worrying about what others think about us. And we are worried that it's going to be like an issue, and that that it causes us to be afraid to come out with who we are because of what people think. And why? Because we're bullied, especially as children. We're made fun of. We're thought judgment is one of the big pieces that I talk a lot about here from that. And then, we have like all these expectations is put on us as children, and it's taught us not to feel good enough about ourselves and about, it gave us this lesser than worthy aspect. And therefore, from also, in addition to that, their generation to generation, they've not only have they suppressed their feelings, worried about what other people think, and gave off the context of not being good enough, but they've learned to hide things. They've learned to, I've even was talking to a client this week that, talking about how the mother and of the twin had, the twin grew up with a mother that would always say, you can't share this, you can't tell this, you have to, hide these sort of things. And this is coming from the persecution of our past that's blocking us from, being able to express who we are. And, in other cultures, we're also taught that, through the biblical and a lot of religious beliefs here. Now, I'm breaking some of those religious beliefs. I was raised in a very religious home, and that my spirituality was not context in a box, and I saw things higher, from a higher perspective, and as oneness like my whole life. And so through my generational curses has been, the passing down of a lot of religious aspects. And so I've learned that, to express my truth out of that. And I talk a lot about my story, and I won't go into that here, but in Twin Flame Codebreaker, I have my own entire story from that. And in that, what I was going to say is, through religion, we're taught, that marriage is it is a sacred vow, but that in other cultures, there is no getting divorces. And we're talking about the soul knows no boundaries. And we're talking from a twin flame standpoint, that if you've gotten into one relationship, not to mention just pre-arranged marriages, that may not be your divine partner. And we're talking about standing up and stepping up to these cultures and generations and saying, no, I'm going to speak my truth. This is my life, and this is not my divine partner that I choose. Well, that's changing a lot of culture there. In fact, I had a client I was working with this week that was mentioning to me that I believe it was in India, that the language there, and a lot of languages in other cultures, a lot of languages don't even have a word for divorce. She was mentioning this to me. And then another really big one here is through these generations, these our parents and grandparents and great grandparents and so on, they have been trained and taught not to get loved, not to receive love, not to show love. That love is withheld because it's something that you just stand up and you be tough, and there's no embracement and there's no love shared. And we're talking about changing the love imprint here with Twin Flames, about unconditional love and receiving it, and we're breaking these templates. So I've seen this coming through, as well as other cultural shifts from some cultures are very strong in their beliefs that, you know, you stay close-knit families, that you can't break away from the family to go off to create your own offspring, to move you know, across the United States, let alone to other countries, to do what your soul maybe signed up for. And I think that's part of the goal here, is understanding that this is creating personal freedom when we can honor ourselves and realize that being the black sheep does not mean we might be different, but it does not mean it's a negative thing. All it means is we're really honoring our commitment to what we came here to change in the template. And by breaking away from all these generational curses and cultural changes and differences here, it says we're creating our own personal freedom. And that personal freedom is needed for our ascension, for us to go through the process of ascending to the highest version of us and connecting to our higher selves. And so now what I want to kind of share for a second is understanding that's kind of why we're seeing 3 different like waves of twin flames coming in at different paradigms here of, you know, like the ones that have been around in the 20 plus years, and, you know, like maybe like around a 5 to you know, 20-year range. And then we got the newbies coming in as the 3rd wave of twins, and a lot of them are coming in as the indigos, and also potentially some crystal children. And we've got the rainbow children that's coming through now. And so there's a transition of phasing out these paradigms is the point. And that when we look at us being different, came in as the black sheep, breaking the molds. That's why the karma we took on is being the strongest, the hardest, what most people feel like is the hardest, because we're going to bat for the future to come, saying we're breaking down that structure and we're recreating that structure so that we no longer have to worry about not, you know, it's going to be okay to be who we are. So, you know, I want to talk for 1 second about the children that signed up also in this 25-year transition that I've been shown, a 25-year transition to phase out some of these old paradigms that we're breaking down and implementing the new templates, the new molds. And then coming on the other side of that, you know, it's not black and white. There's a gray period of 25 years is what I'm showing. So we've already seen a lot of indigos come in, a lot of indigo children. Crystals are coming in as well, and the rainbow children are really starting to come in. And so I want to share with you, I'm not going to, if you've not heard or understood indigo children, crystal children, and rainbow children, I'm not going to tell all the details because that would be almost be like a whole topic on itself. But I'm not going to do that here, but I do want to point out some of their mission and point out some of their differences that you may or may not hear about out there, you know, researching this, because this is some things that I've been shown. So as indigo children, which is what Kylan is, and he's going to be sharing with us today what that's like, is the old wise souls. You know, they may have some karma to clear, and they still need to go through some of their ascension process, and they still need to activate their DNA, but they're empathetic, they're really emotional. They came here and to help us heal the transition. So one of the biggest pieces the indigos, I think, are really helping us do is helping us with the transitional phase of phasing out the old paradigms and the new bringing in the new. And that's one of their biggest phases. So in addition to that, we have the crystal children that their DNA is already activated. They are already connected. There are a lot of star seed, and that's another. It's really just a lot of higher conscious wisdom that's being brought in to anchor into the earth, to pull in as it is in heaven, as is in earth, to bring in a lot of the high vibrational energy in order for us to anchor that energy into the planet and ground it here. And that is also helping in this transition phase to clear some of the karma, helping other people clear the karma, I should say. So that's what a lot of these children coming in with these higher consciousness are doing. But one thing that's really kind of interesting about the crystal children, they are connected to the light more so than the indigo children are. But they are still fragmented, as in they got a lot of different pieces of the color rays. And that's where the rainbow children coming in already, what I've been talking about, the return of oneness and all this rainbow light and the diamond light, that is the rainbow children. They are connected to their higher selves. They are already bringing in the unconditional love vibration. And, I have a 6-year-old great niece that is the rainbow. She actually, I was reading her as a crystal, and she does have a lot of crystal in her, but I can, now that I've studied it more, I see her being the full rainbow because she has already the oneness, and she's going to be, I mentioned her before, you've probably heard me talk about her before, but she's connected to the higher self. She walks around, I love you, and just gives everybody a hug. Doesn't even matter who it is. Now, what these children signed up for and their mission to help with this transition was to restore Atlantis and help recreate the return of Eden. So if you think about, this from back in the day of Atlantis, where all souls were one, they were connected. Same with Eden and Atlantis really mimic and parallel the same concept, where it was basically heaven on earth, and it was basically that we lived in an unconditional love vibration, and that we all were one, and we were with our twin souls creating the twin flame aspect at the time. And then when all the destruction came and it ripped everything apart during that age of Pisces and created the soul trauma and to clear all that karmic patterns, which is what we're doing, these children have signed up to come here to restore the love vibration and to return to Eden. And what I don't know if this is out there or not, but what I'm being shown is that especially the rainbow children, all these children, but especially the rainbow children and the crystal children, they basically are twin flames. And that means because they're already connected to their higher selves, they're coming here through the next phase of after this 25-year transition as we continue to flip this paradigm into return of Eden and restoring Atlantis, basically. We're going forward with the imprint of everyone being reunited with their twin flame in the future aspects of over the next 100 years, 2,000 years, whatever. So that's why we're recreating the templates to do that here. And therefore, it's almost like remove the label I've talked about, because, we think about twin flames are rare, and they have been in the past, and we think about this mass uniting of twin flames coming in. They're not the only ones doing that. They're the ones that's coming in, clearing and implementing as a team that signed up to do it during this time. Then we have our children coming in for the transition between like where we're at here and going forward. And that's not to say we can't have some indigos and crystals that have been, especially indigos, like that's been around since like maybe the 70s or so. That's not to say we don't have any of them. It's just that they were far and fewer in between. They also came in knowing a lot, being connected to their mission, a lot connected to their purpose. And I work with a lot of clients that are in their mid to late 20s, and they are so connected. They came here with a message. They came here already templated. That's how, think about this, as some of the old timers and don't know technology, and some of the newer children come in, and it's like they're already programmed to use computers. They're already programmed to operate in certain realms. It's like, who taught these kids this? They came here with technology built in. They are technology. They came here to change these paradigms, and they came here to implement a mission to do that. So now let's talk about 3 ways, and let's hear from the mouth of a babe what it's like to be a black sheep, so we can take note of that, so we can actually learn from that, so we can actually become more connected to ourselves. So, like, looking at that, talking about, like, is the first one, accepting ourselves. Now, there's a couple pieces of that. So I'm going to accept ourselves is a big thing, because what that really means is we get out of the wake, okay? And I had already been seeing this week, that what does it mean to get out of the wake, okay? And I learned this concept from my long-term spiritual advisor, Dr. Wayne Dyer, which got it from one of his spiritual advisors. But we got to get out of the wake. And the wake is if we're in a boat and we look behind us, we see the wake. And that is nothing more than the past of what is being let go and what is being released. Okay, and here we're talking about the old paradigms, the releasing, and we're letting them go. Okay, they're not going to take us forward in the future. But what is going to take us forward in the future? What takes us forward in the future? It is the energy of the motor at the present moment that shifts and propels us forward. And this energy at this given moment, and this motor, which means it's our present moment, is the only place that we can shift into to help us propel forward going forward. So we got to let go of the past. We got to get out of the wake. We got to release the past is the point here. And I was talking to Kylan when we were coming over from his house, because I ended up spending the night with him last night as a spontaneous thing, showing up after a birthday party that I was at by their house. And I was talking to Kylan, and I was sharing with him my topic and thoughts that were coming through. And I started asking him a few questions. And I want to say something about Kylan for a second. So Kylan is, like I said, definitely an indigo. And he's one of when I started working with Saint Germain, and Saint Germain started coming to me in certain ways, and I was being open, and I was being shown the violet flame and different pieces that I was working on. I would end up showing up, and Kylan and I would have conversations because he loves connecting with the angels. We do angel cards all the time. We do meditation all the time. These children love this stuff. They already get it. They already understand it. We don't even have to teach them. But he started drawing the violet flame for me and started telling me how it was the color violet. It was like he was confirming Saint Germain's flame as I was uncovering it, and he became a messenger. And he, started telling me what it would do, and, drawing it on like this torch and creating the flames. And I was like, and this is, I was uncovering the twin flame aspect too. So he was part of my messenger to help him do some confirmation, as I said. So, anyway, on our way here, I was telling him about this, and I asked him, what, being the black sheep of the family and where you're at as far as being different, because Kylan is very different. What is, not only did I ask him, what does that feel like, and what does it mean to be the black sheep from his mouth? I asked him, what advice would he give an adult that was a black sheep and whatnot? And you know what he said to me? And so this became a topic, one of the, how do we accept ourselves? He says, it doesn't matter where you start, it's where you end that counts. Meaning, when you let go of the pieces, like I said in the wake, you have to let it go. So, we hang on to the pain of being the children, the wounded children. And at any given day, we have to release that and realize that we signed up for that lesson as our lesson of wherever we are, to know that that was our experience, so that we could go forward and recreate the template and be the black sheep of the family or society. And when he said that, I was like, how amazing. It doesn't matter where we start, it's where we end that counts. And this was from the mouth of this 10-year-old telling me this. So I want to ask Kylan, how does it feel, Kylan, to be a black sheep?
It doesn't feel that different, except for the fact that everyone I really know is athletic but me.
And so that makes you different, especially like in your family, right? And does that, how do you, how do you deal with being a black sheep? Because you're very different in a lot of ways, not just being the athletic aspect, but how does it feel to be different? Like, as far as how do you cope with that?
Um, really? I just, I don't know how to explain it really, but I, I feel like I'm normal. Like I'm normal to me, but some people I might not be.
And they look at you different, right?
But I look at me just the same as them.
Okay. What are some comments you hear from people about you being different?
Mm, not really that much, cause no one really like cares in my school.
Okay. But you had a speech that you made because you didn't like bullying. See, these children came here in order to know what it is that they came here to change. And he came here to stand out and be different because he created an entire speech that he did at school yesterday that I'm going to have him share with you in just a second. Um, but basically, what we have to do is learn to get that we have to know that what is the driving force of us going forward is in the present moment and not worry about what these people think about us, not worry about the fact that, including our own family, no matter what that means, that we have to deal with. We have to stand out, we have to stand alone sometimes, and that's okay. And then that means on the second one, we have to then learn how to express ourselves. And in order to express ourselves, that means we have to understand and clarify what our truth is and dare to be different, dare to be the black sheep. Start looking at yourself as being normal, being the black sheep, that you really just came here to create a new template. You really came here to break the old mold and to speak your truth. So these children know that. So, what advice would you give an adult about being a black sheep, about how they can handle being a black sheep?
Just like I said on the way here, just stay away from the negative things in life and go for the positive things because it doesn't matter where you begin, but it matters where you end.
Yes. And that means, what does that mean to you? Can you elaborate on that? Because that's pretty powerful words for a 10-year-old.
Because, wait, what?
What does it mean to like end something? When you say that it doesn't matter where you start, but where you end, that's what counts. Like, and that's powerful words for a 10-year-old to understand that, to tell me that. So when you stop, what would you be stopping? What would you be stopping and letting go of when you say that?
The past.
Mm-hmm.
Or things that have happened to you as a child.
Mm-hmm.
Because as a child, bad things might have happened to you, but tomorrow's a new day, so you just let go of the past and make it better.
And so is that how you operate on every day being different? Okay. And how do you like give us some tips on how to do that as adults? Because adults were like you can't teach an old dog new tricks you've heard that, okay? So he's coming in programmed saying these things is how he handles it, programmed. So it's like, okay, we're all dogs, teach us a new trick.
Um, um, wait, what?
Teach us a new trick
About what?
on how to go forward in life.
Um, even if something happened to you whenever you were a child,
Mm-hmm.
um, to remember that not everything will be the same, because if that was in the past, something better might happen to you, and that might make you more self-conscious and more confident of yourself. That's it.
Okay. That's good. That's really good. So when, like, as far as, some ways to stop being negative and to be positive, that's basically what you're saying too, right? And do you have anything to add to that? And how, as a child, telling an adult that's broken children here, that's wounded children, I should say, and we're trying to heal, and you're coming in programmed, already saying, I know how to let go of the past. I know how to move forward. I know how to be positive. I know how to rise above the negative, is basically what he's saying. Okay. So in order to do that, like, how do we as adults do let go of the negative, and how do we stop staying stuck in the negative is the key here. And so what I have came up with is some ways to do that, some ways to embrace that journey, so how we can kind of shift, okay, out of that. So that would be number 3, being able to embrace the journey that we signed up for. And that way, really what that really means is empowering our soul every day. So how do we empower our soul every day, and how do we nurture ourselves in order to do that? Because as adults, we get stuck in the past. We don't let go of the past. Children move past the past really quickly. And so um, we need to learn how to laugh. That's one of them. But in order to do that, like, I call it kids world. I've said this for several years, haven't I? When I feel like I'm stuck, and so we're energetic beings, and we get stuck, and that energy weights us down. Okay, so I get stuck. I say, I'm going to play in kids world today. And that means my goal with that is to stir the energy. So when the energy's moving, well, laughter is one of the very best ways. So find something that makes you laugh, whether it be, watch something funny, a funny movie, step out of the seriousness, for a day. Decide to have fun and get around children. Get around pets. Pets also will raise that vibration of the same way, because they get excited, right? It's the excitement, it's the energy, right? And he has 3 dogs, so he knows. And I tried to send one home with me today because I'm having dog fever to stir my energy with Champs still not home yet. And so I got my dog fixed yesterday, didn't I? So anyway, so I want to tell you some tips I've shared with clients in order to help them kind of get in kid world. Because sometimes these messages come through for me to share with clients that I'm talking super type A personalities, and people that really don't know how to, like, have fun. And there'll be tips that come through that I share with people, and that, get a coloring book and start coloring. You don't know what it's like to be a princess, get a princess coloring book. Pretend that you are Cinderella, and go buy yourself a pair of slippers. I've had these things come through, the guidance is shared. So, color, and, have a tea party. We've had tea parties, like, we've done this before.
We're going to have one today.
And we're going to have one today. So when we finish the video, we're having a tea party, and we're also going to Swan Lake. And his sister, she's 6, it's actually just turned 7. She's 7. She's a Leo. She's my mini-me. She's watching YouTube videos.
Princesses.
Yeah, princesses. So she's learning very much what it's like to be a princess. And talking about YouTube videos, she's taught me at 4 or 5 years old, he's saying something, she'll say, well, YouTube it. And she'll pull up a YouTube and tell me how to do something, pulling up YouTube. And that was 4 and 5 years. So these children taught me to YouTube when I wanted to learn something. I didn't even really know how to do that. So anyway, but be creative. And that being, start listening to music. Start, if you've always wanted to be get artistic, or paint or draw, start doing it. This is talking about, he doesn't want to do, like, has not really been into sports. And he was telling me how he was doing sports only because his brother and his dad kind of was pushing him to and wanting him to, and he's different, and everybody loves sports in his family, but him. Loves music. He's a little Mozart and a Monet painter, right? He paints pictures for me all the time. He's always drawing and making something for me. And get creative with your writing. A lot of us are authors that have came here to help express our stories in a format and start writing that and sharing that. Um, the other thing is when you stir in your energy, do things like doing yoga and exercise and um, meditation is a big one. Again, these kids love to meditate. They meditate with me all the time, don't you? We do a lot of meditation and we do angel cards. I also have some other nieces and nephews that are very much into Starseed children, Crystal, very much geniuses, and they love, love, love the meditation. Now, I became known as the aunt, the witch of the family, and by being told that they can't always I'll bring the incense, and we're doing all these little things, and they love the angel cards. They'll do readings, and you know. So it hasn't, I would say, in the religious home, hasn't always been accepted, but the kids love it. And it came down to having to say, okay, you got to get permission first, but from them, but they love it. They're raised that way. Or I shouldn't say raised that way. They were born that way is what I was going to say. Here's another one: is rewarding yourself. Out of that, how do we learn to embrace who it is we came here to be? So we reward ourselves, meaning we start getting open to receive. We start go buy yourself that outfit that makes you feel stunning. I've done this before, and I also had a client this week that had done it before. As I was telling her to do this, stop and when you're at home once a week and buy yourself flowers. Make yourself a list, and I gave her this assignment too. Make yourself a list of what it is that how you want to be treated. What would be special to you as far as, making yourself feel special, whether it be, going to a movie or going to dinner or getting chocolate or getting candy, getting flowers. What would you want your beloved to do for you? Well, then you start being open to receive, treating yourself with those things, and now you will attract towards you being open to receive these things, and you'll start receiving it. But you have to reward yourself first. So again, learning to accept ourselves, then also learning to express ourselves, and then learning to embrace this journey of being this black sheep of the family. So now I want to have Kylan go ahead and share with us his speech, because this is very beautiful. This is what he came here. He actually did this in one school last year, and it actually became part of a change that was made in the school and how they did their system to the reward system. So this is what I'm saying, to reward for the positive things, not the negative things. And so Kylan did a speech for student council yesterday, and we're going to have him share his student council speech with us today. Okay? Okay, Kylan, you're up.
Hi, my name is Kylan Gundry, and I am running for student council. The reason I am running for student council is because I want every kid to know that it's okay to be different. I had an idea of making a kindness program. If someone does something nice to you, you write down their name and what they did to you. By the end of the day, the teacher reads all the reports and turns them into the office. And by the end of the week, whoever has the most nice reports will get called to the office and will get a treat.
Awesome. And what was your reasoning for creating that concept? What made you want to create so basically he's creating a kindness program to teach kindness and be rewarded for good deeds, not get sent to the principal's office for doing something bad. What prompted you to want to shift that from that negative we talk about into the positive that we were talking about?
To prevent bullying.
To prevent bullying? Okay. Now, let me ask you this, because you said people don't really notice you that much in school. But what if you didn't notice it and you had not been bullied? Why did you want to prevent bullying if you didn't know what it was like to be bullied?
Because some other kids, they get bullied, and the people who are bullying them, they probably don't know what it feels like to get bullied. But sometimes the bullies, they do have things going on at home, so sometimes it's not really the bully's fault.
Mm-hmm.
They just want to like feed off of your pain practically.
Oh, that's a good concept to say they want to feed off of the pain and that makes them feel better about themselves because they're the ones actually hurting, right? And so they really bullies then reach out. So that's a lesson for us. The people that we are worried about that is making fun of us or that we can't express ourselves to, we're worried about that, about what they're thinking of us, when in all reality, they're the ones in pain. The same thing with our family and being the black sheep. Okay, so let's think of like a bully being the black sheep, kind of, in that scenario. So, our family and whatnot, we're the ones different, but and actually, I had somebody mention this to me this morning. So, and having to do with family not being able, that really they look at us and they really want to be like us. So the people that are looking at us are really the ones in pain, wanting to be like us, that we came here as the twin flames to be the leaders of. So therefore, we need to stand in our own empowerment and do what we came here to do and be those leaders and implement those templates, because it's really going to show the people that are the bullies outside of us, or the people that aren't seeing us eye to eye. It's really showing them they're learning from us is the point. They're learning to step outside and become themselves. They're the ones wishing they could be like us. And we're worried about what they think, but they really think they just want to be like us and that they're acting out the way they are because they're in pain. And their pain is triggering their pain to treat us that way, because ultimately they're the ones that need to make the shifts and would love to be more like us. They'd love to be more like the black sheep and stand alone and go against the grain and connect to create the personal freedom to come here to express who we came here to be and implement what it is we came here to implement, and do it with ease and grace, and for us not to be concerned. They wish that they could do the same thing. And I've had people even say that looking at me, like, oh, I'd love to go spread my message, or I'd love to go, create a YouTube channel or things, but you make it look so easy. It's not easy necessarily. It's just a matter of letting go of worrying about. Trust me, I've been through all of this. So, to sit here, even just to have a child come in as part of this message today to teach you is a new concept for me, because you've seen my videos, I haven't done something like this. And my old ways would have definitely been, well, what do they think? A child sitting here, like, is it gonna benefit? Is it going to be weird? I'm just thinking out loud here. My old ways would be like, I would try to control the situation, be like, I'm not going to bring my grandson into a video, because that would technically, what will people think? That could technically not turn out so good or right or whatever. But you know what? It's all perfect. It was all perfect. This guy has so much wisdom and knowledge. He is an indigo that came here and is one of my greatest teachers. And I want to thank him. Thank you for showing up for me in my life to teach me what it's like to be a wise soul, and to confirm for me all the pieces that I'm having to learn as that old dog, learning new tricks, and to let go and to know that I can embrace this journey. I can express myself. I can speak my truth. I can really accept myself for who I am. And I came here to leave a trail of sparkle behind. No more of the wake. It's like, so we want to replace the wake with sparkle, and like create sparkle and be able to let our light go up and shine. Us, to become that oneness of, connected to ourselves, like the rainbow children are coming in as. What a beautiful experience. What a beautiful experience. So I want to challenge you to go find some children this weekend and get out there and play. Okay? Go have a tea party like me and Kylan and Kennedy are getting ready to do. And I'm going to take them down to Swan Lake and we're going to feed the swans. They haven't been to Swan Lake yet. And I'm super excited because I'm going to be in Kid World for the next over 24 hours now. And I'm so excited. And I was able to come in here and present a message to you, bring my life with me, and be who I am, and show you that it's okay to be the black sheep of society. Okay? So much love to you. Many blessings. Don't forget to like, comment, share the shine. Be sure to check out my services below, and all the ways that I can help you glow forward are listed in the description below. So many blessings. Enjoy your weekend. Again, much love to everyone in Florida, and embrace this journey as this high winds come in, and we can use those examples of these high tides, these high winds coming in, that we came here to ride out the storm as twins, and to do it by letting go of these paradigms, embracing what we came here to do and change, and seeing that if we're the black sheep, it's really actually okay. Have an awesome day. Namaste.